All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Another beautiful Thursday here in Bossier City, Louisiana. This is the Coach's Sanctuary podcast. I'm your host, Coach Eddie Hamilton. I'm glad to be here for another opportunity to chop it up with y'all here in the Coach's Sanctuary, a place where we help coaches build successful programs off the court, also helping to eliminate stress is one of the things that we focus on here in the Coach's Sanctuary. And glad to be here. For those that are logged in, I always want to say thank you. Thank you very much for taking your time to step in with me and share this time. And hopefully we can address some things and grow a little bit. Again, you can subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, also on Anchor and Spotify. We're also found on Google Podcast, Amazon Music, Stitcher. So we're continuing to grow. And like I said, I always want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you all joining in and making this a success. Remember to like and share with anybody. This are all the social media, gab that we gotta say. So yeah, like and share if you feel like this is being a blessing to you. And again, definitely appreciate you jumping in. So let's jump right on in. If y'all notice the title, the topic for today is Would I Play for Me? Coaches, all right. Would I play for me? Would player me play for me? So now we're moving into a segment where if you have any topic ideas, feel free to reach out and send a direct message on any social media platform that you find the Coach's Sanctuary on my personal page, Eddie J. Hamilton. And so I'm starting to get into those and to dive into some of the topics that you all are interested in. I appreciate those that responded. This was back in July, to those that responded with things that they would like to discuss and get some insight on. And so we're going to start with, would I play for me? In other words, hey, would player me play for coach me? All right, would player me play for coach me? What's funny is now is that you think about it, it does make you think. It does make you think, because a lot of times in our profession as coaches, pretty much what happens is that we pretty much sometimes do what was done to us. You know, what we experienced. And then sometimes it can be the experience that we had we didn't like, so we make a conscious effort to try to go the other direction. So it's definitely not a level of perfection that comes along with that. It's just, what do you decide to do? But, when you think about, would player me um, play for coach me? And so, of course, I got to start with myself. I've been almost 20 years in the game now. Of course, um, I don't. I'm kind of. I don't know if I can say that I'm not the same coach. I don't know if I can say that, just from the standpoint of just um, just the foundation of who I am and what I believe in. Um, I think those things have been pretty steady over time. But I will say, I think the things that's changed has been just, doing a better job of trying to be discerning of the players that I have and different things that they go through, and just trying to be understanding, a little more empathetic. What's funny is that as coaches, when we're on the sidelines, it's crazy because people come to a game and they watch a game. All they see is the interaction during the game. They see, the fussing and all that kind of stuff. I can't say fussing and cussing because I don't cuss. So, with those that do, no knock to them, just nothing like that. But I don't cuss. But we get antsy on the sideline. Then sometimes you have some coaches that are just real laid back, and people think that they're not really engaged. So it's always, so you never please people. So you got to be yourself, genuinely who you are. And so, so when you think about it, it's just crazy because what people think, they come and watch the game, but they don't know what happens every single day when you're with your kids. What you go over, rotations, offenses you want to run, special situations, all those different things that you go through, and they don't know what you know about your student athletes. And one of the things that we can say, as coaches a lot of times, is that the truth is that, hey, sometimes you got high achievers, you got those that are kind of average, and you got low achievers. It's the thing that we just totally skip over when we look at a kid who has a lot of ability but might not be able to comprehend. Then you might have one that has the ability to comprehend but don't have great ability. And so as coaches, we got to figure it out with our kids throughout the course of a season, so people see the end result of the game, but not knowing the time that it takes to getting in and really understand what best fits your team. Every year your group changes. The dynamic of your groups change. But so when I sit here and just think about me as a player and me as a coach, honestly, I can say I know I can play for me because I'm coaching the way that is what I believe in. It's what I believe in. Even as an employee now working in school, you have different types of leaders, different types of administrators. You have those that have a laid back approach that, hey, do your job, I'm leaving you alone. You got micromanagers that want to dictate every little thing that goes on. And neither one bothers me because the bottom line is I'm going to do my job. So I've always been like that. So I don't think, or I know for a fact that who I am as a coach, me as a player, yeah, I could have played for me. And sometimes some people might say, "Oh man, you tripping all that yelling and screaming and fussing and stuff you be doing? Boy, you can't take all that." Well, I mean, hey, I did, because we got parents. Hey, I was raised up in the old school in the 80s and 90s, and for those that were raised up in my time frame, we still got whoopings and punishments. The stuff that they throwing people in jail for now. So, so, so a little bit of fussing and accountability is not something that scares me, but it's definitely something for us to think. We live in a different time frame, y'all. We live in a different time frame where the level of sensitivity when it comes down to behavioral issues and mental health, and of course the way that it's handled when you're talking about um, the home dynamic. It's not different now. Even when I was a kid, we had single parent homes, single mothers, single fathers. We had classmates who grew up with their grandparents, grandmother. That's still going on. That's never going to change. But I know that the mentality and the attitude is, back in the day, I remember when I was in private school, I got a whipping from my principal and I got a whipping at home. Now it's don't touch my child. Don't put your hand on my child. Don't talk to him like that, and this, that, and the other. So over time, the children have not changed. The parenting has changed for whatever reason, and so the reason why this is a pretty good topic. I don't know who said that, but this is a great topic, is because it does make you think about your approach, because we do have to have a heightened level of sensitivity when we start to discover our players who we coach. We got to really, really take the time to dig into who they are as people. We got to find out, like we said, what's your player, identifying your players' motives. We got to know who's here to win at a high level, who's here to compete, who just here just so they can get more girls to like them or more boys to like them, who's here because they mama made them try out for the team, who's here just because they just want to be in the social club. you know, as coaches, we got to identify that. We have to figure out, you know, we got to figure out, man, like, what's best. What's the best approach to have when you're thinking about what would, the players that we have, would I play for me in the way that I am? Um, for me, I know it's tough. It's very, very tough to play for me because I'm not coaching the game. I'm coaching character. When I am leading my group and we spend hours working on a game plan and preparing for the next game, and when somebody comes to a game and they see me irate and just all out of sorts and a little wild here and there, it's because we spent all week preparing and working and getting ready for this opponent, and then we get into the game and then you decide I don't want to do that. Well, I mean, when it comes down to it, those are things that people don't understand, when it comes down to it, because I'm very, very meticulous, very, very detailed. And even for myself, when I played ball coming up, I wasn't a superstar player, wasn't a stud. I don't know what it's like to be a star. So I don't know the mindset of the kids who get coddled and told that they're going to the league. I don't know. All I know is as a player, I played hard. I might not have understood everything, but what I was taught, I tried to do, and I played hard. And so when I'm coaching, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. As a coach, I'm looking for those that are going to play hard, and I'm going to teach you the how and the why to everything that we're doing so you can play hard. It gives you a reason to play hard. And so if you're a person that comes and shows up for an Eddie Hamilton coach team, and you're not a person who likes to put up a fight and to scrape and to scrap, for what you say you want, then you will be very, very uncomfortable in my gym. It will scare you to death. It will drive you crazy that I'm on you about defensive rotations, about what matchups we have that we have advantages in, about time and score situations. And this is basketball talk now, y'all. This is what I'm doing right now. And so with that, if you find yourself very, very uncomfortable in that situation, then when I figured it out, then I have to work around that depending on how much talent I have. And sometimes, it takes a little time, it takes a few games, to figure out, how serious it is to play high school basketball. Now, when you go down to elementary levels, before you get into middle school, like I have a son now who's playing soccer. He's learning. All I want him to do is learn. I want him to enjoy himself. I'm not on him saying he's going to be a professional soccer player. It's now we're in discovery phase. We're trying to see, is this something that you enjoy and that you want to try? And then as he gets older, if he finds out this is something he wants to do, and then his level of his competitive spirit, all that kind of stuff, that I want to see more of that because you say you want to be great at this. So when it comes down to it, coaches, we ask ourselves and we handle our kids in different situations. You know, would you want to play for you? Would you want to play for you and how you handle? Do you want people to talk the way that you talk to the kids? Do you want, can you handle what you dish out in most cases? And sometimes what's funny, y'all, is that what we dish out, we can't take sometimes. That's very, very common, that it is times where there are things that we dish out to others that we can't take. And it's kind of funny. It's very, very funny with that. But we have to be very sensitive. We have to be cognizant. We have to figure out the motive of the players that we have, when we're trying to get the most out of them. Because sometimes there are players that you have to pull to the side and you cannot get on them openly. You know, once you figure it out, you do that. Then there's some guys you can get on them, some girls you can get on, and they'll respond. It's so many different things we have to dissect. Then we look at situations. We got to see, hey, if it's a tie game with 30 seconds left in the game, can this player handle my mode when we're in that situation, or are you a player that as long as we're leading, you're good. But then when we get down, you don't want to fight back. And so as coaches, we got to figure that out. We have to see who's who, and how we handle them, and like I said, it's just one of those situations where we got to be sensitive. We have to pay attention and put our players in situations and practices where we get to find out who they really are. I don't care what anybody tells you. Nobody understands what us as coaches go through when we are trying to figure out who are the guys that just want to be on the team and just play. And then for those that are true competitors and trying to win at a high level. Because that dictates, it does dictate how you handle different ones in different situations. Then sometimes let's take it a step further. As coaches would say, would I play for me as a coach? Well, then, so for me as a coach, if I have a child who loses a loved one, you got to think about it, y'all. We have dealt with as coaches where we've had players who they've had a friend that was shot, or they've had a grandmother that passed, or a grandfather that's not here, or a friend was in a car accident. And then me as a coach, then I'm able to, be cognizant of what they're going through. We still have a goal. We still got to win, but, being open about their situation with the team and then understanding where that player is emotionally. You know, some players will respond and come out and play hard after a loss or something tragic. Some, they might need a little time, and we have to be aware of that. And sometimes for us as coaches, we can get more out of our players when they know that there's a level of sensitivity to what they're going through. It matters. I mean, it really does matter, when they know that you're there for them outside of the game. Those are things that I've said before in past episodes that, we got to get to know our players outside of the game and what makes them tick, what makes them go. What is their motive for being here? Because sometimes you have good high school players, we're trying to pull out of them, hey, you can go play in college, and they don't want to. I mean, think about it. We're trying to pull out of them. We see this potential, but that's why it's so important that we know who our players, what their plan A is without the game. Because if we're just coaching the game, then we can get all out of sorts dealing with our players, when they might just want to play in high school, probably don't want to play in college. That's why we need to know who they are outside of the game, figure out who they are, what makes them tick. I say this all the time. 100% of my players that's had a plan for their life are doing well as adults. 100% of my players that did not have a plan for their life were struggling. That's a fact. But I was still able to coach them effectively while we were there because I understood that. I understood where they were. I've had some who didn't have a plan, but they knew they wanted to do something, but then help them research and find out what do they want to do with their life. And I say that to say this. I knew how to handle that child. I knew how to handle that student athlete based on them being shaky about their future. I want to play, but I don't know if I want to go to college. I might want to go to trade school. I might want to drive trucks and be very supportive of that. And sometimes those are the things that really matters more. And I'm not gonna say sometimes, most of the time, those are the things that matter more. And you as a coach, you can see players who are willing to play, for you because they know that you are concerned about who they are without the game. Even if basketball is their dream, or football or soccer or tennis or whatever that is, they still want to know that you care about them outside of just your interaction, or just practicing games. And so with that, coaches, for us, it's important for us to understand that, because your players, they actually can accept more from you when they understand how much you care. Because the bottom line is player me, would player me play for coach me, the bottom line is that if a student athlete knows that you care about them, okay, that you care about them and their well-being, then yes, okay, any player will be able to play for any coach, even if the coach is doesn't really understand a lot of things, but they understand that coach cares about them. You can get more out of those players. I try to always, use life situations, scenarios, personal experiences, stories, past successes and failures of players that I've coached, to kind of probe at, current players to figure out who they are and what they're about and what do they hope to do with themselves. And those conversations that we have are actually a part of our practice. Sometimes we cut practice short, and sometimes we have to have conversations. And in those conversations, my student athletes get a chance to see who I really am and why I'm the way I am, because I'm very, very transparent. Very transparent. There's nothing for me to hold back when it comes down to dealing with my guys. Some indiscretions I've had, some mistakes I've had, some bad decisions that I've made. I've been very, very open with my players when situations are happening. What I found that happens is when they see that I'm a human being, that I'm not just coach, that I'm a husband, a father, play music at my church, a minister at my church, involved in my community with different things that I do. When they see those things, seeing me, saying I got to go here for Ethan, I got to do this for my wife, or, my parents need this, or I need to go to church and do this. What that does is it shows them that we're human. And what happens is that I found my players put their guards down when they start to really see, hey man, this dude really ain't crazy. He really not crazy. He really do care about us, you know. And I'm a very, very big proponent on my players earning things. I don't like to give anything to my players, anything, because that's not life. It's not life. I think in this day and time, well, I know that we give our children too much. They're afraid to earn anything. I had to have a conversation with one of my players before, when just understanding his situation, and I had to just call it out and just call it like it is in order to get more out of him. I'm like, man, right now you're just at a crossroads. I'm demanding that you be a man. You're looking at a man face to face and you're afraid. You're afraid of it. But what I saw is that player, his response after I had that conversation, was a lot more details to it. What I saw is that I saw his energy and effort all start to get better and more because I addressed something I saw in him. Because I was straight up with him. Didn't beat around the bush. And so that's why, coaches, you want to treat your players the way you want to be treated. You have to treat your players and give them more than just the game. They have to understand that when you have game plans and you have practice plans and you have routines that you're going to, it's not just we're just doing this just because it's basketball. The days of just do what I say do is like they're gone. And that's not a bad thing. In the education system, they teach to the why. And I took that concept when I was in part of the TAP program, which is called Teacher Investment Program here in Louisiana. I was able to learn, and it actually changed, some of my coaching, because now instead of a child within himself asking why and questioning me, I start off teaching them why. We are doing this because we're doing it this way for this reason. We are trying to accomplish this way. This is why we're doing it like this. And so by doing that up front, now I'm seeing kids perform at a higher level, or even better than they thought they would, because I'm telling them why we're doing it. It's not just because I say do it, because that's not enough. That doesn't mean anything to these children. That's how we was raised. For those of y'all that's with me, late 30s, early 40s, For us, it was do what you told. If you don't do what you told, you ain't playing, which is okay. You can do that, but you'll lose more players than you win. And people ask, man, how in the world do you get your players to play so hard? I know, I'm not afraid to say that one of the staples of playing for me is that we're going to play hard. We're going to play hard. But with that hard is because I give us end results, end goals to go after. We know what we're trying to accomplish. We know going inside of a game, who the opponent's best players are, what are their tendencies. We do our planning, we do our film study, we get in, we go over plan. So now they're able to play and maximize their potential because we have a picture of what it's supposed to look like. Have a picture. Like I told y'all, now at the current job that I'm at airline, you go from 5 wins during the COVID year. I gotta say that because I still got pride. 5 wins during the COVID year. Okay, 5-13, jumping all the way up to 16-10, and literally 2 points from being district champs. 2 points in 1 year's time, all because of being able to teach why and to getting the players to understand why we're here and what we're here to do. So for us as coaches, you think about it. Could you play for you? Because if not, you do some soul searching. Could you handle you? Seriously. Don't just say it out of pride and say, man, yeah, these kids, they soft. These jokers, these kids. No, don't do that. Seriously think, could you play for you? Like I told you, I'm throwing in, a little disclaimer for us coaches. Look, we all get animated. Then some of us chill, and people wonder why you're the way that you are. Well, if you put in hours in practice working on something specific, and somebody goes into a game and decides they don't want to do it, okay, yeah, you'd be upset. But the question is can you handle you? Can you handle you? Can you take your approach every single day, your preparation, the way that you teach, the goals that you set, those different things, coach, can you handle you? Are you prepared? Do your players know that you come in, you have a plan for practice, you have goals during the course of the day or throughout the course of the week? Can you, coach, accept the preparation of you or the lack of preparation of you? Can you, coach, handle the standards that you set as a player? Can you handle, coach, you, the standards that you set and that you want your players to get to? Can you, as a player, handle you and the standards that you set? And these are just thoughts. Because believe me, I'm definitely not one of the ones who's up for the soft stuff, the mushy stuff. That ain't me. That ain't me. I like to earn what I want. And I want my players to learn how to earn what they want. That's not a black and white thing. That's not a rich poor thing. It's not anything. We should be teaching our players to earn what they want. We will change the world, coaches, if our players earn what they want. Period. So, coach, can you handle you? Can player you play for coach you? Just a thought. So again, as always, don't necessarily have to come on here and keep you long. I just want to say thank you again for those that take time to come and chill with me, here in the Coaches Sanctuary. All right. It's always a pleasure to get here and share. I appreciate those that do take the time to send out, messages and phone calls, with some positive feedback about what we're developing here and what we're growing. Remember, coaches, man, we got to stick together, man. We're fraternity and sorority. We're here. Let's get better. Let's get better. Also, take a moment here. Y'all take a look. This is uh, what they call my merch. All right, this is my merch. All right, so eventually I'm gonna start posting some links for those that would like to support what we're doing here. Remember, if you're a podcast person, to go on the podcast platforms and look up Coach's Sanctuary. Remember, we're on Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon Music. You also can go on YouTube and look up Coach's Sanctuary and subscribe. Y'all know how it go. Y'all know how it go. Y'all see how people growing here, and so I definitely want to expand and continue to be a blessing. And like I said, just a joy to be here. So man, y'all get some rest. Coach, take care of yourself. Here in our town, where we are in Shreveport, Bossier, we got fall break next week. So getting a chance to get a break. And for those for basketball season, it's not a break because we start official practice next week. So we'll be at work getting ready. So I definitely grateful for you. I see some comments here, man. I appreciate y'all. I can't see who it is on here on this software, but I definitely appreciate y'all coming in. Like I said, man, share it out with as many coaches as you can. Get it out, and we look to continue to grow. We got some special things that are coming up. There's going to be some changes to the format a little bit that's coming. So definitely be paying attention. Look out for this Saturday. This Saturday, there will be a special edition show this Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Central. Okay. A special show. It's the first of a new style of show that we're doing in the format that we're going to. So Saturday morning, make sure you log in on all the platforms, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. Make sure you log in live at 10 a.m. Have a special guest, okay, coming on, and it'll be our Coaches Sanctuary special edition. And that's all I'm gonna tell you is that part. All right, so make sure that you look out for it. I'll have out the advertisement stuff for that on tomorrow, and y'all look out. Definitely excited about the direction that we're going. And like I said, I do appreciate you. You get some rest tonight. For those watching football, you enjoy yourself, and be safe. Get some rest. All right, and have a great weekend. All right, love y'all.